All right, guys, I want to share with you a couple of kind of insights into what you can be thinking about, what key exercises you can be working on to improve your trail running ability. So to prevent injury, to make sure that your lower body can tolerate the kind of the camber of the trail, the undulating terrain, the ascending, the descending. Like it places so much force through our legs, and you can understand why it blows up so many people's legs. You know, they go on these, they're training towards a particular event. And this is exactly what kind of pulls them to pieces. And for us, when we're in the gym environment, there is a number of different exercises that we want to be kind of working on. And it comes down to the concentric and eccentric actions. This is what I want you to be thinking about. Let's take the lateral box step up or lateral bench step up. You've got a chair in front of you and we're just performing step ups. All right, and we're focusing on that driving force. So this is a great way of us developing that concentric driving force to drive through our legs, engage our quads. But a lot of people don't think about the eccentric phase, this lowering phase. So when you do this step up, lowering down, 2, 3, control that descent. I could do that better, slow that down, touch, drive straight back up. Lower with control, drive straight back up. But what I'm doing is I'm placing more time under tension. I'm taking my time to lower myself. What you'll notice is that you'll start to engage more core, more glute, more hamstring. You're just placing a lot more emphasis on that descending portion of the movement. Eccentric loading, hugely, hugely important because it forces us to stabilize through the knee, it forces us to work to engage those key muscle groups through the ankle, through the lower leg, through up into the hip. But again, it places a lot of this good emphasis, good load through the patellar tendon. Areas that just get hammered when we're kind of trying to ascend, descend, or working on those uneven terrains out on the trail. So just think about that. It's the same thing when you're doing something as simple as a single leg squat. That concentric action of driving up from the seated position, but again, lowering with control, lightly touch, drive straight back up. Same principle. It's how you behave in some of these exercises. So that can be applied to most single leg exercises. Going into plyometric work, we have to be having it. We have to be working on this ability to jump, land, produce force, absorb force. Strength and stability is one part of that kind of spectrum. Once you have good stability, good levels of strength, we've got to then be able to tolerate the ability to actually land and control that levels of strength. A lot of people don't, and this is what really kind of throws them when they get out onto the trails or when they start to push the distances, they start to push the terrain. Their bodies can't tolerate the impact and the force over that said distance, over that said time. So for us, we want to keep incorporating different variations of low-level plyometric work, skater hops, lateral hops, single leg work, depth jumps, your ability to work on your ability to land, but then also to work on producing force immediately. One of the most obvious characteristics as we age, that we lose, is our ability to produce force. We start to stiffen up through the ligaments, we start to atrophy, we start to muscle wastage, we start to lose muscle mass. So for us, working on that stability, that strength, but then again, on that force production, on working on your ability to absorb force, produce force, and consistently do that. Within all of our programming, we're constantly working on these qualities. Depending on what level you're at, we're always working on your ability to produce force, absorb force, produce power consistently over time, through interval training, on the bike, on the run, in the gym. And then we start to manipulate the angles, the complexity of your exercises. Slant board, why are these sort of things good? Because it forces us to place an emphasis on certain aspects of our joint structure. So here we're placing a great more emphasis through the patellar tendon, but a lot more emphasis through the quadriceps. Allows us to sit deeper into this range of motion. A lot of people who have tight Achilles, calves, etc. Great way of kind of getting those deeper ranges of motion, training those bigger major muscle groups in those deeper ranges of motion, so more muscle activation to a certain degree. But again, we're just trying to create overload through those key muscle groups, which you're then looking to obviously work that much harder out on the trail. Placing more load through the body, using barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, absolutely, working to those maximal levels of intensity, we have to. Like if you weigh 70 kilo, you should be aspiring to be able to lift 50% of that, 75% of that, 100% of that. We've got men and women on program who are comfortably moving 100% of their body weight. They're moving 70 kilos back squat. They're able to lift 70 kilos off the ground, deadlift. Why? Because it's that strength to weight ratio, power to weight ratio. As someone who wants to be athletic, we've got to be elevating your levels of athleticism across the board. You can't afford to have too many areas of weakness. We want to be relatively strong and conditioned across the board. Otherwise, we just overload, whether it's through speed or through long durations out on our feet. We're going to overload the body, and your body's going to compensate. So in terms of the key exercises, I've shown you a few today. But essentially, it's that concentric, eccentric actions of the movements that I really want you to focus on. Playing around with the kind of the type, in terms of like working with different complexities, and then definitely bringing in these kind of plyometric drills is really going to help you kind of get stronger, feel more confident out on the trails, and certainly go a long way to preventing injury. All right.